Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing about magnetism. So what is magnetism? Magnetism. So what is magnetism? When we think about a magnet, first thing come to our mind is a bar magnet, right? A permanent magnet which is having two poles, now north pole and south pole. But what is the reason behind this phenomena? Why magnetism occur? So when we go into the detail, we find out that somewhere some charge is moving, right? So if we take one loop, current carrying loop with I current I, then we can write that the magnetic moment is mu b, we can write is I into A, right? We know this one, and it produces a magnetic field. So what is the magnetic field? Magnetic field, we know that it will be like this way, right? If the current is flowing like this, the magnetic field will be like this way. So this one will be here north pole equivalent to, and this one is south pole. So we can replace this. We can replace this one, the loop, current carrying loop, with the dipole with N and S, right here, and we can replace this one with, and this one D distance and pole strength M, right? So it will have the same moment, mu B is equal to M into D. So either you take this current or you take this dipole, both will produce the same effect. Now after this one, what we will do, we will take one uh, solenoid. So if we take the solenoid, what is a solenoid? Solenoid is here. This is a solenoid, current carrying solenoid, a cylindrical solenoid. It is having n turn per unit length and current is flowing is I. So we can show that this is I, this is going inside, this is going out of the paper and out of the board, and this is like, we can show it very long solenoid, length L and number of turns N, and current flowing is I. So what will be the magnetic field inside? Magnetic field will be, we know that magnetic field will be B naught will be mu naught N I. So this is the magnetic field produced by this solenoid. Now what is the medium here? Medium here is the air, or it is vacuum. So there is no medium inside this one. But if suppose we insert some medium here, then what will happen? If suppose we insert a medium here, like iron particle, or if we keep here something like aluminum or any material, then what will be the behavior? Magnetic field will be, density will be more or less. So this kind of study we will be now start. So let's start here. Let's see what will happen. So three things can happen. If, here three things can happen. One is, if this is a medium, then what will happen? These are the magnetic field. So this one, right? This one. Second thing, what can happen? Second thing, what can happen? That it can right. So it can deflect through medium. It should here it is attracted towards the medium and it is deflected through the medium, right? It is and the second thing, what can happen? If this is the medium, what can happen here? Magnetic field can be, it is more and more attracted. Okay, so this kind of thing can also occur. So the first one, weakly attracted, is called paramagnetic. We will call it paramagnetic. Paramagnetic material. This one we will call diamagnetic material. Diamagnetic. And this one strongly attracted magnetic field here. It is called ferromagnetic material. Ferromagnetic material. So there are basically three classes of material according to magnetic point of view: paramagnetic, diamagnetic, and ferromagnetic materials. So so what are the example of these materials? So if we take this one, uranium, then platinum, aluminum. Right? Here example we can take bismuth, Pb, Hg. There are so many other examples are also there, and this is very popular. This is Fe, cobalt, nickel, and LOI. So these are the examples. Okay. Now what other things we can say about this one? These are the qualitative things we are seeing here, that some like magnetic field lines are here attracted and it is deflected, and here it is going more and more. So but let's now do some quantitative analysis. So for this one we will define one more term, and that is, for qualitative analysis we will define one more term, and that is susceptibility. So suppose earlier it was having B naught is equal to mu naught Ni, right? So it was B naught is equal to mu naught H, right? Now one more term we can define, that magnetization. And this term is here magnetization. We can write here a new term, magnetization, that is M is equal to mu B upon volume. Okay. So what does this say? This gives us information that how much material is the medium is magnetized, right? So we can define here. Now we again come to susceptibility. So here this is B naught is equal to mu naught when there was no medium. When we have a medium, then it will be replaced by mu naught is replaced by mu. Okay. So what is the mu here? Mu is we can write here that M is equal to, or here we can write H is equal to B upon mu naught minus M. M here, M is the magnetization and H is the magnetic intensity here. So what will happen here, if we take this one, it will give you B is equal to mu naught H plus M. Now we define a new term, and that is susceptibility. So susceptibility, what is susceptibility? We can write here that M is proportional to H, right? And this one is proportionality constant. Susceptibility is the proportionality constant. Okay. So now let's write here mu naught H plus, okay, so mu naught 1 plus susceptibility into H. So this term, if we compare here this term and this term here, B is mu into H. So what is mu? Mu is permeability, is the updated permeability of the medium is mu is equal to mu naught 1 plus susceptibility. Okay. So now we have arrived this one. With the help of this susceptibility, we can in form of number we can say that what is when it will be paramagnetic, diamagnetic, and ferromagnetic. So if susceptibility is positive quantity, okay, so it's very of the order of 10 to the power minus 4. So if it is positive quantity, then it will be paramagnetic. If it is negative, then it may be like 0.01, something like that. Here it can be minus 0.0001, and in this case susceptibility will be very high. It will be of the order of like 1000 to 1 lakh. Okay, so so this is quantitatively we can say that when it will be material will be paramagnetic, diamagnetic and ferromagnetic. Okay, now after saying this one, so this one we have defined. Okay, paramagnetic, diamagnetic, ferromagnetic. Is it okay? Now in case of paramagnetism, zeta is proportional to C, and it's a B upon M, right? So it's zeta is proportional to B upon T. So this one is called Curie's law. Approximately 1900, Pierre Curie has given this formula that it will be susceptibility is proportional to, or magnetization is proportional to temperature, is magnetic field, and it is inversely proportional to temperature. If we will increase the temperature, susceptibility will decrease. Okay, so this is one thing. After this one we will see that what will happen if we increase the current in the ferromagnetic material. What will happen if we increase the current in the ferromagnetic material? Okay, so suppose here we are having, suppose on the x-axis we have here current, okay, or B naught, because B naught is equal to mu naught Ni, right, from here. In the case of solenoid, if we take, and we are having here medium, so we are talking about this thing, and it is ferromagnetic material. So we are talking about ferromagnetic material. So if we increase the current, what will happen? How the magnetization will be affected? How the magnetization will be affected? So we will see that if we increase the current, it will go proportional. Okay, but after certain time, after certain time, what will happen? That all these one, all these are what will happen? It will be parallel to, like for minimum energy, it will be parallel to the applied field, all the magnetic moment. Okay, so if we increase the current, what will happen? The magnetization is increasing, but after a certain level there is no change in magnetization, right? So it has these two saturation point. But if we suppose so this is if A, then we are here up to saturation point A, and after this one, if we try to demagnetize it, take it to original position, and we take the current here like this way. So it's a, we see that even if the current is 0 here, the current is here 0, but there is still magnetization is there. So our medium or our material has become magnet, right? Magnetized. So if we want to demagnetize it, we have to go further, right? We have to go further, and so here, and this one, if we reach here, then we find that it is demagnetized. But you can see that the current is, now we are flowing here in the opposite direction, right? So this one we will call, this is OAB. We will call this one as, retentivity. And this one is, we will call coercive force. Why it is called retentivity? Because it is retaining, it is retaining the magnetism, whatever it is, because it's something like in inertia. You have magnetized it, but you want to demagnetize, you have made the current zero, but still you find that the material is magnetized, so it is retaining it, so it is called OB is retentivity. Now if you want to demagnetize it, you have to force it, right? You have to give the coercive force, so it is called coercive. Like we are giving, forcing it to make it zero, so that's why we will call this one OC as coercive force. In the same way, if we go further, we find that after a certain time, we reach here where there is no appreciable change in magnetization, and in the symmetric way, here we reach like this one. Okay, so this curve is very, very important. Now we will define this one. This one will be called hysteresis. Sorry, hysteresis. Okay, so this one we will call hysteresis. Okay, hysteresis curve. Now what happens, this curve is very, very important. Why this curve is very important? Because this is kind of signature of a material. For a given temperature, a material will have very definite curve. Okay, and what this shows? It shows that suppose it shows that how much energy is dissipated. Okay, so it gives information about the energy dissipation also. Now suppose the question arises, what is good? This should be, the curve should be, OB should be large or small, OC should be large or small. So it depends. For the case of, if you want to make a permanent magnet, then you will try to make it more and more. OB should be bigger, OC should be bigger. But if suppose you want to make electromagnet, these things you don't want to. You don't want retentivity. As soon as you remove the current, you don't want any magnet in there, right? So it depends. If it is steel, then what will happen? This kind of, you will get the graph. If in the case of steel, you can, if here in the case of soft iron, you can get this kind of graph. Okay, so M and here V naught, so you can get this kind of graph. Here you can see that it is small, and some material it is very, very small, it is zero. So it depends what kind of application do you want to have. So for the case of computer memory, if you want to use it, this kind of material, then you will find that there should be, the value of retentivity should be small. Okay, but in case of electro, so for the case of electromagnet, we want it to make it zero. For the case of computer memory, if you want, then it should be very small quantity, right? So this is about hysteresis. It is very, very, very important nowadays. Also you will find that ferromagnetic material is nowadays is used in everywhere, because piezo material also it is having ferromagnetic property, and it's very much important. So many research is going on, that I mean, how to make this one small, or according to requirement. So we can add some other material and make LOI such that we, according to our requirement, we can change this graph. Okay, so so this is about hysteresis. And This is paramagnetic, diamagnetic, ferromagnetic. We have seen. One more thing I left, and I think we should discuss here, and that is why this kind of phenomena is happening. So why this kind of phenomena is happening? Because here we are having, generally what happens, why not all materials behave like ferromagnetic, why not all materials behave like paramagnetic? So the reason is because suppose we take helium, what happens, as from the beginning we are saying that if there is a magnetic field, somewhere charge is moving. So if we take an atom, what happens in the case of atom, it is orbital motion. There are mostly two kind of motion. One is orbital motion and second one is spinning. So if there is clockwise, anti-clockwise, it will generally cancel, right? But here what happens, so if there is not paired, like paired electron, then it will be separate out and it will give the magnetic field. So this is the reason here in paramagnetic we get the magnetic field. Okay, but what happens here, without any magnetic field, all the magnetic moments are like scattered in the different direction. Why in different direction? It is because there is some other energy also, 3 by 2 kT or I by 2 kT, according to like number of degree of freedom. So energy, we know that I by 2 into kT, right, per molecule. So this energy, due to this energy, it is having random motion. Okay, it is randomized. So when we apply the force, it tries to align this way. Okay, try to get parallel and minimum energy. So it will attain, so it will dominate this one. Okay, so this is the region. And diamagnetic, the region of diamagnetic, here in this case, there is generally all the electrons are paired electrons having anticlockwise anticlockwise. Still, what is happening here, like Faraday law, we can get the answer through Faraday law, that there is some additional loops are start flowing. Okay, very weak loop, very weak current start flowing, and that try to oppose. And we can find that it is not coming from anywhere else, rather from energy conservation. In case of ferromagnetic material, it is very strong, we know. So what happens here, all the magnetic moment is aligned, and even if we remove the magnetic field, what happened, it remains aligned. So in the minimum energy level. So this is the reason that different medium behave differently, and we can say that it's very interesting phenomena. And if we go deeper and deeper, we will find some interesting field and interesting things, and we will find some more answer, and accordingly we can apply it according to requirement. We can use it. We know that magnets are used everywhere, right? Even our earth is a giant magnet, right? Our earth is a giant magnet. We know that earth is a giant magnet, right? So here, if we take this one, this is geographical north, this is geographical south, and this one is 11.5 degree. This is north, this is south, because we keep the compass, it generally goes north and it's south. So earth is having permanent magnet with north pole here and south pole here, making angle of 11.5 degree. Okay, but one thing is that this one is keep changing. Okay, so magnetic pole of earth is keep changing due to solar wind and other reason. So it is keep changing. So around 1600 uh, uh, it was discovered that earth is a magnet, and before even that compass was some like it was made. And after this one, we know that its application everywhere. We apply magnetism, you can take printer, computer, then we use it everywhere. All the motors, whatever we see, generator, motor, everywhere we use magnetism, right? So it's very much important. There are so many things to talk. Even currently we know that the company like Tesla, they have named their product on the base on the magnetic field, like diamond unit Tesla. So it's, so you can see that how much it is relevant, is still relevant, very important. And it is I mean, it is there in the syllabus also. So let's study in this way. Okay, thank you.